Hello and welcome to yeah, we are ready. Welcome to PSGL Formula 1. It's a Monday evening at 11 bloody hell, 8 p.m. I'm your host Lordy Boy, and joining me as usual we have Leon Bentley. Say hi, Leon.
Hello people, lovely to be here as usual.
Yeah, it's always a fun times in this commentary box. We've had thrills and spills so far, and it's only been 2 rounds. Obviously the pre-season and the official opening of the 2019 game of season 23 in Australia. But it's been a thrill ride. So hopefully China can provide a few more upsets here and there. Maybe a few more drivers challenging the Renaults. Not too sure. But I'm just going to get a former driver of F2 in the party, and it's his first official start as an official F1 driver, and that is Alfie. So he will be joining us shortly, Leon.
Ends up gravel trap, so hopefully it doesn't repeat what I do.
Yeah, hopefully not. I don't know my official F1 debut, because obviously back in the day when I used to race in F1, at the start it was actually classed as F2, even though it was the top league. So it was very different back then. There was Sal, there was Mal, there was Pal, there was loads of different weird, strange names for some of these leagues. But I believe, if I remember correctly, I believe it was Australia 2013, and I finished 6th, so not too bad. I was only 13, so not like some of these drivers who are just too quick to even comprehend, but not too bad. But it's now 2019. Is it not? What, like it's failed or just... Oh, Alfie's on his other account, isn't he? Yeah, he is. Oh, that man. These people. So many accounts. Too many to comprehend. Alright, let's get him in here. Hopefully he joins sharpish so we can get busy.
Are you sure you're streaming on the right account?
Yes, I should be. Is it not on the PSGL?
No.
You sure?
I can't see it. Oh, it's there. Yeah, that's it. It's just gone.
Okay. Yeah, sometimes it takes a bit of time to render. It's just a bit of a pain in the arse. And here we are. Welcome to Alfie Ollie. How you doing, Alfie?
Welcome to. I'm good. Ready to score some points.
Ready to score some points. So optimism from the get-go. I see.
Yep.
Yeah, just thought we'd get you in just for a few questions. Obviously, it is your official F1 start as a driver with a full-time seat, because obviously there's been a few incidents in the community. Some drivers come in, some drivers go in, and you've been moved up from reserve to, I believe, teammates with Louis Welsh.
Yeah, he needed someone to carry him, so I'm going to be that person.
Well, I've obviously got Leon with me again. If Leon's got any questions while I just check the stream, see if it's alright, then fire away, Leon.
Yeah. Alfie, what are your expectations for this season?
To win. Right, maybe that might be a bit optimistic, but I'd say top 10 in the championship. And the constructors, because Louis OP.
Very fair point. My last question will be, do you think you'll get carried by your teammates after his quite dominant pace shown last week? Going towards the back to the front.
Well, I mean, I think anybody who's teammates with Louis is going to get carried, except for maybe if it looks, I don't know, maybe, I don't know who else is quick. All I know is Louis is quick, so I think anyone would be carried by Louis, so nothing to be ashamed of.
Very true. We're starting any minute, so good luck.
Thank you.
Yeah, it was only.
Where is everyone gone?
Not too sure what's happening, if people are starting or what. There's a few issues, I think, with PSN regarding some people's internet. But just keep Alfie here for a few more minutes. He doesn't have to leave just yet. Obviously, it was a bit of a controversial pick, Alfie, when we were in the evaluation races. You had a very good evaluation race. I think it was P4 you finished in Belgium. A very good showing compared to last season, where you were lingering in the depths of F3 and F2. But what are your opinions on some of the drivers in this league? Is there anybody who you think would be your rival, or anybody who you think you can challenge this season, or is there anybody you're afraid of coming into some of these races?
I'm not scared of anybody, because I'll slap anyone down to the ground. But if I'm talking about people who are undeserving of their F1 seat, it has to be ILRT with Little F1. I know we got a podium last time, but in that evaluation race, he was battling Brand and Manglover. And if ILRT underscore Little F1 is here, where's Brand? He needs to be here as well.
Yep, so fair enough point, to be fair. Obviously, some...
Oh yeah.
Some technical difficulties as well.
As I pull my mic out, I'm going to say some people would agree with you. Sorry about that. Some people would agree with you in regards to Lickle. His evaluation race was, in his words, appalling, to say the least. But Big C and AMS and Holt gave him an opportunity, and to be fair to him, he's delivered pretty well. So you can't knock him too much. Yeah, I'm not too sure what's happening. Obviously, Big C, the director, trying to sort everything out. Too many invites to count at the moment from that man, Conor McDonough. But just going on from what we were saying about, obviously, people that you may be, scared of or undeserved or deserved at their places. We have a returning driver for today's race in Odems. Obviously, Odems did say a few comments on Twitter, which may have been warranted, may not have been. You can be the judge of that as the people watching. Well, he does return for China, and from what I've heard, he is a competitive driver, and he has got some pace behind him. So, Alfie, what do you think that man Odems can offer here at China?
Well, I think he's on pad, so he should be up there. But it is Odems, he's known to be very dirty. As I'm watching the F2 race and someone's just been taken out, that's always a good sign. Yeah, Odems very quick, very dirty. So we'll have to see if he can finish the race, because I know he doesn't normally do very well when it comes to not killing people.
Wow, very strong words from Alfie Ollie. I think that's everything from me. Leon, if you've got anything to add, then go ahead.
No. I think talking about the person talking about Odems, especially from 2 weeks ago, could be a slight sensitive topic.
Yeah, well, people have their opinions and they can voice them however they like. Just don't expect everybody to like them. I think that's the message we learned from 2 weeks ago by that man. But anyway, yeah, thank you very much, Alfie, for your time. Good luck on your official debut, and hopefully we can see you back here for a podium interview. See you later, mate. Oh yeah, I forgot we're in a new lobby. 9 viewers so far, not too shabby. Hopefully the internet holds up. I just want to test it from my side of things, because obviously commentating on other leagues and this, that and the other, and hopefully it should hold up. I think the quality is quite good as well. It's just,
yeah, it looks fine on mine.
Yeah, no echo I've seen as well, so I don't know if that's from your end, Leon, from last week. I don't know.
It probably is, but I don't know what exactly.
Maybe a ghost haunting you.
Oh.
Yeah.
Why me?
Why you? I don't know, mate. You just do comms with me. You're a nobody. No, I'm joking, obviously, but just come on. I've got dinner to eat. 8.
What we're waiting on.
No, I'm not too sure. I'm not in the PSN chat or the Twitter chat, so you'll have to update me if anything's been said.
They're waiting for Paco. Oh, and he's here now. So.
Oh, excellent. Well, just a quick words from myself. Personally, we have got obviously China today, but personally from my perspective, I dislike this track with a passion. To watch maybe, you know, we've had some amazing moments down the years. 2008, Lewis Hamilton been in it in the gravel. 2007, sorry, Lewis Hamilton been in it in the gravel. Probably should have had the title in his rookie season. I think everybody would agree with that. We've had thrills and spills here at China. We've had massive incidents. We've had Sebastian Buemi in the Toro Rosso, if you remember, both wheels coming off the car and going straight on at obviously the long straight. So there has been many thrills here at China, but personally for me, I really dislike this track. But what does it offer for the drivers, Leon? You know, you're an ex-F1 driver, you know the stakes that are at hand, and what are the challenges some of these drivers have to face around this track of China?
I think the biggest challenge would be themselves. Trying to keep themselves clean. Snail section with all the cars jumbled up together. And also the other thing would be the difference between pad and wheel drivers, because China, as everyone knows, is notorious for being a pad track, and in my opinion, it still is. And in the F1 chat, there was a lot of debate about it today. And apparently, all the pads players or drivers are doing really well. And I think in PSGL history for F1, we've had one wheel winner. I think that was Gamer in season 21.
Wow. So a very bold statement made by Codemasters, how they like to program their games. Not over the years, like you say, China has been a pad favoured track, and obviously for some of these wheel users who spend tens upon tens of hundreds of thousands, I don't know how much people spend on the wheels, because I personally haven't got one. I think it's up to the range of between 200 and 700 or something like that. But you know, a lot of these people do offer a lot in terms of, you know, buying these wheels, buying the extended products, and maybe feel it's a bit unfair for people who have obviously the pad to be better, considering the price difference between a pad and a wheel.
That is very true, but most people have the relative 200 quid ones. The occasional people have up in the thousands. Yeah, I get what you mean.
Yeah, well anyway, enough of general chit chat. We're going to get qualifying underway, and the first two men out there is Ash Best and I believe a Toro Rosso as well of Lee Finley. Won't stay on board with them too much, but sorry Leon, what was that?
For once, I think that's the first time I've seen in like a year's time Ash Best has been beaten out the pit.
Yeah, he's a young man, eager beaver to get out on track. Is Ash Best. Obviously, I've not raced too closely with him personally, as he makes a move on Lee Finley. Loses the back end as well, so very eager to dispatch the Toro Rosso. Not too happy that Lee Finley's taken a mellow approach to the track on his outlap.
Yeah, I think that's just Ash's routine. He's had it since he's like F6 and F3 days. Always be first out on track, and Lee Finley's spoiling it. I think could be mind games on Ash, because Ash is looking to try and dive bomb him into a difficult corner, should I say?
Yeah, as you say, dive bomb central from Ash Best at the moment. A testament, actually, Ash Best to the PSGL system. You know, he's come through the ranks, used to be F6 and then obviously moved into F3, and now he's at the pinnacle of league racing. You know, especially in PSGL, you can't get much better than F1, maybe F2. You know, there is a lot of pedigree in that league as well, but you know, this is the top dogs. This is where everybody wants to be. In any age, any ethnicity, any category, you want to be in the F1 league. And Ash Best is, you know, product of that. So, and he's pitted. Very interesting from Ash Best.
Yeah, I'm totally confused. He's usually first out on track, first to do a lap, and he's come out second, overtook Lee Finley, and then pits. So
That man has his own imagination to work with, so fair enough from Ash Best. We're obviously on board with Lee Finley at the moment. If you can just see who's next out on track, so I can cycle to it very quickly, Leon. But obviously,
going on in the final sector.
very yeah, a lot of yellow flags I'm seeing in sector 3 at the moment.
I think Lee Finley was the first person out on track and is the first person to start setting it up.
Yeah, just going on board with Lee Finley as we have been for the past lap. You know, very smooth is Lee Finley. You know, doesn't really put a foot wrong on a qualifying lap. Not probably the most optimum way to drive on this track. A lot of people trying to find, you know, track limits to maybe extend to get better exits, to undulate the car through some of these corners. And Lee Finley, you know, is not that kind of driver to push himself. He's very smooth, he's very clean, usually. But, you know, a lot of these drivers out here are very aggressive, especially on some of the curbs. You know, like Louis Welsh, he knows how to take a curb. But Lee Finley doing a fantastic job.
Because of had experience racing, he does like to avoid the curbs. I don't know if that's just his thing. But most curbs he does avoid. That's just his thing. And his first lap's actually not that bad at 31.4.
Who's next out on track to set a lap?
I think it's Sparks. No, it's Chiff Chaff. Oh, lovely Chiff Chaff, the guy who always gets the stream time. Is 7/10.
7/10, good old Chiff Chaff. Obviously, just seeing some of the lap times filing through now. I think Odems is actually the next one to cross the line as he comes through the final corner. Definitely cutting the final corner. Sorry, Poe and Onyx as well, as Odems goes P1. So Odems making a statement already. His return. I'm just going to cycle through as well.
I'm slightly confused by, usually I would see a lot of people on the hards, and there's only one person on the hard.
Yeah, a lot of people opting for the medium tyres. Obviously, in these qualifying sessions, you get one set of mediums. So, you know, if people are going to use the mediums, this is either the only lap they're going to set, or it's going to be...
Oh my god. Just got news. Wet race.
Okay. Definitely justifies why people are out on these medium compounds then. As we watch Gamer approach the sweeping hairpin at the long straight. Obviously Gamer, another one of these smooth drivers, had a fantastic performance out in Australia last weekend. Managed to get himself a podium. It was P2, wasn't it, for good old Gamer last time out?
Yes, it was. The experienced Gamer always, I don't know if it's just his trend, does very well at the start of the season, but then towards the end starts to drop back a bit, so perhaps he might want to work on that.
Yeah, some of these drivers have definite preferences to league racing. Some people like to start strong and try and coast their way through some of the league races, and some people finish strong, so it's nice to see a variety.
Oh, it's raining. It's raining.
Oh, we've just had confirmation from Ted Kravitz that in the pit lane it's raining, it's pouring, and Sparks is in the pit lane.
That pretty much puts Odems on pole.
Yeah, just seen Francis come around the track now. The track is definitely very moist, as you see. Oh, Francis ringing the rear tyres, absolutely spitting sparks everywhere as he goes into the final corner. There's just no grip for these drivers. He's going to cross the line. He's going to go P10, so that's a decent lap time as we see the racing points being held up in the pit lane. Also, we've got Ash Best, I think, just about to complete a lap. It's going to be a 1:33.1 and puts him P12, but nobody else has set a lap. Connor McDonough out on a lap on the softs, and killer zone in P15 as well. Absolutely ringing the Red Bull around this track. Definitely not going to be a representative lap time from him. So we're going to go on board with Jay. Leon coming into the final few corners.
Where is he?
P16.
Yes, about. I don't think he's going to get anywhere. I think now the track's too wet, he's just going to get P14. I don't see any improvement. Yeah, he's into the 36s now. The track is getting wet at an incredible wet rate. I don't know what the softs are going to do, so we should keep on board with Big C.
Yeah.
Grippier tyre.
Yeah, like you say, it is the grippier tyre. It is supposed to offer more tense, more traction, more pace, more grip, especially through some of these high-speed corners. But the track is absolutely deluged at the moment, and people just can't find the traction. Big C, as we see Gamer in the background, just on board with Big C, having a bit of a moment in P13, so very disappointing from Gamer. But Big C, very cautious round this lap. I think he's left it a bit too late to try and set a good lap. Obviously opting for the soft compounds, which is a bold statement from Big C if he can pull it off, because you know it is a wet race, so people will be starting on intermediate tyres. So Big C could have pulled a masterstroke, but it just doesn't look healthy.
Well, it could be. Is it rain? I wish if it was a wet race. It just says in the chat rain. Oh, but Lambo said in the chat rain race. Yeah. The thing is with Big C, he has pulled it out late, and also DRS was disabled when he just crossed the first sector line. So his lap was not really that good. Oh, Cherry.
Oh, yeah, Jay Katex has hit the wall, going through the middle sector, and whether Cherry's collected him or what, I'm not too sure if you saw anything there, Leon.
I just saw the aftermath.
Oh, well, poor old Jay, out of the race. He's going to start on intermediates anyway. Where is Jay? Currently P14, so a bit of a miserable afternoon, as Big C is going to cross the line and set a 1:49.8. That's what you like to see. 20 seconds off the pace nearly. Yum yum.
Louis comes out on a set of intermediates.
Well, Louis may not feeling confident in the wet weather, and a lot of these drivers obviously have retired. You know, they've had enough. They've done the quali lap. They don't want to sit through this session any longer. But Louis, this man, maybe not too, experienced in the wet weather. Maybe he's struggling a bit out there, especially on the wet tyres. A lot of people don't normally practice for wet weather conditions because we rarely see it in PSGL races. I can't remember the last time I had a wet race in PSGL. It's been that long. But China does offer a lot of upsets. So Louis just getting to grips with the track, it seems.
Yeah, wet weather it's not usual, but it kind of is. It's usually for PSGL wise, there's one or two races that are wet a week, I'd say. There was one last week with F3, and I think F7 this week had a full wet race. I think I don't know what kind of rain it will be, but yeah, I think China has an increased chance of rain.
Yeah, China's one of them tracks where, like Silverstone, you don't really know what the package is going to offer you. You don't know what the weather's going to say. You don't know what the tyre temperatures are going to say. And at the end of the day, it's been just, people have just been caught out in these conditions. And I'm just going to get a drink, Leon, so I'll leave you to commentate on Louis.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, Louis coming into the hairpin. Very, very cautiously. Might show that he's not done much practice. As he's about to start his lap on the intermediates. He might be able to go quicker than Big C. I'm not 100% sure. I don't know any intermediate lap times. But here we go. Louis start his lap on the intermediates. Ashbest and Cam or Cherry also on the intermediates. The McLarens opting to get some late wet practice in. So Louis taking the snow section quite nicely. I don't know what a good wet sector time is. I think we can just compare it to Big C's, because Big C's probably closer to the time. In the first set, Louis half a second down on Big C.
I have returned.
Okay.
Obviously.
I have no clue whether Louis is doing well or not.
Well, there's only 3 drivers remaining in this qualifying session, and to be honest with you, I'd rather they just retire, because I think a lot of the grid is going to be pissed off while waiting for these 3 drivers.
Fairly pissed.
Obviously, some of these drivers normally exchange some very harsh words to one another, but when you see 3 drivers going around a track at snail's pace for the next 6 minutes, it would definitely infuriate me. So I can definitely sympathise with these guys.
Yeah, definitely. I've not been there to experience this, thank God. But yeah, he's quicker than Big C. from what it looks like for now. So he may be able to qualify just a little bit ahead of the 7-time champion, as we all forgot. Yeah, around the final corner. The first intermediate time of the night, 43.2. No clue if that's good or not.
Yeah, obviously these lap times are not going to move them up in position. The lap times have already been locked in place, and I think a lot of drivers will be disappointed in their performance. Just going back to Alfioli, obviously making his full debut today, starting P4 with a 32.1. So Alfie's really 32.1. I thought I read that wrong. 32.1, and he's pulled it out of the bag. So proving his haters wrong. He did have a bit of a horrendous showing in Australia, obviously at the back of the grid. Obviously had contact and spinning, and just wasn't a very enjoyable afternoon for himself. But no, his official F1 start in this league has gone pretty swimmingly so far.
Yeah, I think luck did slightly come on his side. So he did get the lap done fairly quickly, and the rain came down rather early, so he was one of them earlier people to get the lap done. So that could be the reason why, but obviously we've not seen, well, we've seen everyone, we've only seen 3 people in the wet so far, so we don't know what the rest are going to be like.
Yeah, of course. This track known for bringing spills and thrills throughout the entire race. I remember back in 2008, Takuma Sato down at the hairpin hit a super aguri going into the final sector. So as Cherry 2 Pie spins it somewhere, I was just on board with Ash Best, giving us an absolute wet weather masterclass. Currently sitting in P12. I believe he did set on that on the hards, did he? Or was that on the mediums?
Ash Best's time was on the mediums, but just to say Ash Best's time, his intermediate one was 1.2 seconds slower than Louis' intermediate.
Very, very interesting. Obviously, as the time ticks down, it's turned into what was going to be a thrilling, fast-paced afternoon to one of the slowest qualifying sessions I've ever seen. These drivers taking the piss. I think it must be said.
The F1 chat's not impressed. Let's just say that.
Yeah, I have to agree with them, to be honest. I think if I ever experienced something like this, there would be words. We've got the most amount of viewers we've ever had ever, I think, in PSGL history, and that's because half the grid is spectating the comms at the moment, watching Ash Best go round and round and round. But
well, to be fair, give credit to them, they're getting some wet practice in. So
all I'm saying, if any of these drivers suddenly happen to combust or crash out or have a disappointing race, I think it's what Alonso would call karma for wasting everybody's time.
I think this could go down in F1 history for the dullest qualifying session.
Yeah, of course. Obviously, the previous China races we've had in real life have been very entertaining. Obviously, only just last year, Sebastian Vettel and Max Verstappen collided at the famous hairpin where everything seems to go wrong. So let's hope we don't see that in F1 here today. We have got a lot of competitive drivers, as I've said before. We just need to see their talents blossom in these sort of conditions.
Louis improved and then retired, and I think the rain's getting heavier.
Louis, 6 seconds off Jake Tex. Did beat Big C, and Cherry also beat Big C, so it is making a difference for some of these drivers actually. I think Ash is the only one just going round for the sake of it, but you know, Cherry and Louis have put themselves above Big C, which could be crucial because Big C has been known to struggle in mixed conditions before. You know, he's not too happy with the game so far. You know, even talks of retirement from the 7-time champion I've been hearing, if things don't go his way or improve. And you know, it's very sad and disheartening to hear from one of PSGL's greats that he's going to be retiring or stepping down from F1 if it doesn't improve. But it just shows the calibre of the league racing nowadays. You know, people like me, Tuzmuz and you know, drivers like Warren Haig. We've had our time. Our time has passed. I'll never be as good as I was, and you have to make way for the new. And I think Big C's experiencing it firsthand, making way for the new.
Well, yeah, no offense to you or Tuz or Warren Haig or the others, but he has lasted the longest.
Oh.
So.
Sorry.
That's calm yet in the wall. Where's that?
That's the, well, as I call it, the bell end corner. As you look at it, it does look like the head of a. Yeah, we'll stop there. But anyway, Cam showing us how not to take it in the wet weather conditions and having a very big oversteer moment. Let's hope he saved it for qualifying and not in the race, because we obviously want to see him push up there and try and challenge for some points. But if you just want to run through the grid for us, Leon, just pick out, in your opinion, the surprise factor. I know it's been a short qualifying session and, you know, we've had rain literally instantly, but who's the surprise package?
In a bad way, I would say Louis. He wasn't able to capitalise. In a good way, Chiff Chaff. Yeah, got himself P3. I don't think he's ever even dreamt of being that high up on the grid. So yeah, he's got himself on that second row of the grid, followed by the debutant, Alfie.
Yeah. Obviously I mentioned Alfie earlier being one of the standout performers. He did say he was going to load Louis' setup from time trial minutes before the race had begun, so a lot of preparation and thought being put into the Chinese Grand Prix from Alfioli, currently sat in P4. But for me, it has to be Odems. It has to be Odems. He's put it P1 after the misery of the pre-season, and after obviously having a bit of a sanction and a bit of a mishap with you and me and a few other people on Twitter and some of the admins. You know, Odems has come back and said, you know, stuck the middle finger up to us all, to be honest, and said, you know what, I've paid my dues, I've done my community service, I'm back, baby, and look at that for a lap time.
Yeah, could be. When we were talking about, quickly, when we were talking about Cam being out of the Big C, that is not right, because he'll be starting at the back, because he's got his grip penalty.
Well, as you say, as I run through the grid, we've got Odems on pole, we've got Lee Finley second, Chiff Chaff third, fourth Alfie, Onyx 5th, we've got Lickle in 6th, 7th Poe, 8th Gamer, Blizzard starting 9th, and Francis rounds off the top 10. But as you said, Cameron Anderson with a 5-place grid penalty with a mishap with Jagetex, obviously mixed conditions as you've seen throughout the stream, costing Jagetex in that qualifying session, binned it in the wall, and I think Cam's just piled in to the side of him. Accidental, we will never know, but it's a bit of a shame as we see dry conditions for the race. So my sources were wrong, Leon.
You can blame Lambo on that. He's put that in the stream chat.
So Lambo thinks it's wet. Maybe he meant later on in the race, maybe not at the start, but so
I guess so.
So it's definitely going to be wet at some point, according to Lambo, but not at the start. So naughty Ted Kravitz needs to get his notepad out again and start fishing for more information, because I'm sat here thinking everybody's starting on Inters, and they're not.
Sorry. He said right. It will get wet. Oh, okay.
It will get wet on a Monday night. Not normally the night you'd pick, but in my experiences, but a wet Monday night can always work.
The formation that begins. I wonder what tyre everyone's going to go on.
Well, people are going to have to start on mediums.
Could have started on the hards, depending on when the rain came in.
Yeah, true.
But everyone outside the top 10 on hards.
Every single person.
Oh, I've got a feeling, because the top 10 had to start all on the mediums.
Yeah.
I've got a feeling the race is very late on. The main is very late on. I've got a feeling all the medium runners could be in trouble.
Could be right. Obviously this game has a habit of drying very quickly from wet conditions to dry conditions. We had it earlier in a practice session, me and Bugatti were just having a few laps obviously around China, and the track just was drenched in water and it just suddenly evaporated. So I don't know if they're using heated tarmac out there, but it's pretty miraculous how the weather can just change in an instant.
Yeah, it's not exactly realistic, which is unfortunate, but Codemasters does fail in a lot of things.
Yeah, a lot's been said about this game. They had the early patch which buffed the understeer on some of these cars. A lot of people complaining they just couldn't take corners because it was so understeery. The handling model just felt pretty horrendous for a lot of people. Personally, I actually enjoyed the challenge of the understeer. It actually made you think before planting the throttle through a 90-degree angle corner. But people weren't happy. Codemasters clearly wasn't their intention, and they've changed that. But regardless, people have found their feet. People are used to the game now. No excuses for inexperience. This is the pinnacle of PSGL, as I've said many times before. And top 3 finishes, Leon, before they line up on the grid. Your predictions?
Get to a stab in the dark. Louis going to win. Onyx second. Lee Finley third.
Okay. As we see a Renault taking oh no, it's just a bit of lag from my end. Brilliant. They're all just loading in because the camera angle's that far back. They haven't rendered in yet. My predictions, just quickly, I'm going to say Odem's second. First, I'm going to go Lee Finley and Alfie for P3. Well, here we go, Leon, for the start of the Chinese Grand Prix. Let's see how it goes. We've got 1, we've got 2, we've got 3, we've got 4, we've got 5 red lights here at China. And away we go. I'm not too sure who's got a good or a bad start at this moment, but it looks like Odems is clean off the line. We've already seen position changes. Alfie up into P3, but Odems leads going into turn 1 and into turn 2. Anything happened further back, Leon?
No, the only thing I can report is that Chiff Chaff got mugged.
Chiff Chaff has been absolutely mugged. It's like him in central London, shanked and sacked. Chiff Chaff all the way down in... Where is Chiff Chaff, actually? He's all the way down in P5, so... Currently...
Chiff Chaff's launched it down the side of Edward, or Lickle, and Lickle's off the track and losing positions rapidly.
Oh, so Lickleblock's getting tangled in positions as he fights for P7 currently with a Mercedes, a Williams going around his inside of a Blizzard. Lickle is going to try and hold it around the outside, but it's a very tricky corner to undulate the car through there. Not too sure if Lickle's picked up any damage, but a fairly clean lap 1 so far, Leon.
Yeah, fairly clean. A few people going wide, as we just saw Sparks go wide there. He's side by side with Jay. Big C having a nice look as well. Oh, that's Big C giving Cherry Soup quite a nice little squeeze. That's KP getting the move done. Jay's off the track, and yeah, a lot of people are going wide for a lot of the corners. No crashes so far.
Yeah, just going to stay on board with Chiff Chaff. I think he's got a problem. Chiff Chaff letting numerous people pass. Clearly feeling that he's impeded people as we watch a Mercedes go down the inside of Paco. It is Gamer for P9, so a fantastic move going into the hairpin.
Oh, Big C and KP are off. Big C's backwards.
Oh no, poor old Big C already struggles around China as it is, and he's lost a numerous amount of positions all the way down in P18, so a torrential start for this man as we see Ash Best go up the inside of Francis. Oh, nearly losing his front wing down there in P12. Ash Best not having the best of qualifyings down, starting P12. Currently lingering at the back of the grid, but he is on the hard tyres and there's a long race to go.
Yeah, definitely a very long race, especially with the wet. One person I'd like to point out who's had a very good start would be Gamer. 9th on the hards.
Yeah, 9th on the hards. Gamer doing a fantastic job. Obviously keeping with the trend of the Australia finish. Obviously not keeping in touch with the front runners yet, but as you say, on the hardest compound. Just seeing gaps form, Leon. The top 4 just separating themselves from Blizzard. Obviously Blizzard, I think, having to make up a few positions, so he may catch this train up. But you know, Alfioli doing a stellar job there in P3 on his debut.
Yeah, he seems to have the pace. There are definitely a lot of critics with a lot of the drivers in here, to be fair, but I think Alfie was on the top of the critics list, and he's certainly shutting them up for now. Pretty much a second behind Odems. I think with the pace he's got at the moment, I think he can keep the 2 ahead of him quite close.
Yeah, just watching Francis and Paco go side by side as Francis completely locks up, and oh, contact! Paco has lost a bit of his wing on the back of Gamer, trying to defend his position from Francis. Francis in no man's land and completely bottles it, going into the hairpin as Paco peels up into the pit lane. for a new set of boots and a fresh front wing.
Yeah, that's kind of not what he needs, especially when there's going to be another pit stop coming round. Let's see what tyres it's for. It'll probably be for hards. Yes, it is. It'll be going to the rain for that pit stop.
Yeah, if there is rain coming, like we've been reported from VSR Lambo, there will be commotion in the pit lane. Just watching this train of cars now in from P9 all the way down to P15. P14 I should say. Obviously a mixed bag of drivers. They've got mediums, hards on, so it's going to be very competitive. Obviously some of the hard drivers not going to be up to temperature so far in this race, so they're just trying to cling on to these medium runners just to see if they can hog the DRS down the straights. But I will just fast forward to the top 3 because they are the people to watch, especially now DRS is enabled.
Yeah, Chiff Chaff. Game has passed Chiff Chaff. I think Chiff Chaff's got damage. Because he seems to be very slow, especially on the mediums, so I think something's wrong with the Haas. Yeah,
poor old Chiff Chaff getting tangled up in a few incidents going down the straight. You actually conceded 4 positions. I don't know if it was just courteous or if he had a problem, especially with his gearbox. It looked like his gear shifts were a bit dodgy, but Chiff Chaff trying his best down there in P9, but people just having the pace around him.
Yeah, I've just been confirmed then by Lambo that he said he doesn't know if it's raining. What's happened to Odems? He's lost the lead.
Oh, I was just on board with Alfie going into the final turn. He's dropped off quite a bit, but I think Odems just got mugged on the straight with the DRS. So Odems falling down into P2, where if he made a mistake into turn 1, I wasn't too sure, didn't catch that. But Odems, not a lot of ERS either. So maybe Odems is compensating for something here. Not probably having the pace that he would have wanted early on in this race. And will Lee Finley get away?
I don't know. I think Odems looks like the quicker driver. I think Odems made an error. Has lost himself a position, but I think Odems will retake.
Yeah, very true. Just obviously looking at the ERS map that I've been shown, and he's running no ERS through the middle sector. Obviously, he's used a lot of it trying to bridge the gap to Lee Finley, but currently he's not doing a stellar job because he made a slight mistake going to turn 1. Still in P2, so it's a good redemption day so far for Odems. But Alfioli in that Renault, he's sniffing, and not just him, also Onyx in P4, only 6/10 behind.
Yeah, championship leader Onyx, just lurking for now. There's still 24 laps to go. The rain, I don't even know now because Lambo said he doesn't know if it's raining or not. Going to rain, so we may have been lied to.
Sorry to interrupt. You're watching Chiff Chaff and Sparks go neck and neck going into the hairpin. Chiff Chaff really having a torrid time out there in the Haas. He's squeezing Sparks. Sparks might make a move into the last corner. That's definitely brave of him. Chiff Chaff's got to get out of it, but gives him a lot of room. DRS is going to be enabled for both drivers because of slipstream, but here comes Jacotex. It's going to be 3 wide going into turn 1. Chiff Chaff's going to get absolutely mugged, but no, he's going to hold it around the outside. Is he going to have the traction? Chiff Chaff under pressure, dealing with it very well, only losing 1 position so far. Jay, you're not going to go around the outside there, mate. The track's too long as he nearly loses it under pressure. And as Louis comes out of nowhere on them hard tyres for P13, will he snatch it up? No, he will not.
He's got to switch back though. No, I'm surprised by Louis. He's certainly lost all of his pace.
Yeah, judging by his lingering down in P14, Louis just not on par with some of these drivers. He maybe just be caught in traffic because there is obviously trolley trains being formed currently at the moment, but not the best of starts from Louis Welsh.
I think Ash Best and Game is going to be the next battle, I think.
Yeah, just on board with it going through the notorious Bell End corner. Not too sure the actual name of it, but the shape of it definitely warrants the name, as Ash Best gets a pretty awful exit actually coming out of the notorious curvy corner, I think I'll start calling it, as we watch Jay pass Chiff Chaff going down the straight. Will Ash challenge Gamer? No, very cool, calm and collected from Ash Best so far.
Yeah, Chiff Chaff also let Louis through, so I don't know what's happening with Chiff Chaff.
Yeah, just looking back at the front as well. Obviously gaps are being formed, like I've said. Onyx starting to close on Alfie. Alfie probably needs to up the ERS usage to keep with the battle. He's been doing a stellar job so far, but that gap is 1.3 seconds to Odems, and Odems and Lee Finley are starting to creep away, so Alfie Ollie needs to put his foot down.
Yeah, he's definitely under pressure from Onyx, which could be bogging him down a little bit. Blizzard's now creeping into the RS range. But yeah, Alfie may just not have the pace of the front two.
Yeah, it's a bit unfortunate. Obviously, the better of the two Renaults at the moment, Alfie. Obviously, his teammate on an alternate strategy. But lingering down in P13, Chip Chaff's losing position after position after position. There's definitely an issue with that Haas. Probably running the Melbourne spec in that Haas. Can't get his act together. Rich energy, lightning energy, whatever energy. He's got none at the moment because he's down there in P14 on the medium. So Chip Chaff having a miserable afternoon.
Yeah, we said he was going to do well, but I guess that was a fantasy.
Yep, going to go on board with Onyx. Getting very close to the back of that Renault. I don't know if he's just biding his time to make a move. I didn't see him weave to the inside as he went through the sharp hairpin as he obviously approaches the last corner now. But Alfie is getting good exits, good old Alfie, so he is keeping him at bay. But will Onyx make a move? He's moved to the inside. The Renault has Onyx. He's sniffing. Oh, very controlled from both drivers. Onyx is going to try and sneak it up the inside, but he's got to give him room. Side by side so far. And no, Alfie holds the position, but we're just going to stay on board with this battle, as I think Chip Chap has pitted. But Onyx looking very, very deadly. But no, Alfie positioning of that car looking very, very optimal. Obviously going to have the inside for this corner as well, the sweeping left-hander, and maintains the position.
Yeah, very good defending there. He's lost himself more time to the top two, but I think now his battle is with the two cars behind him and not the two cars in front.
Yeah, as you said, Leon, it's very difficult to keep with some of these drivers, especially when you start battling with people behind you. Another man we should mention as well, who had a stellar afternoon in Australia, is Lickleblocks. Obviously known as ILRT Lickle in this race. He's currently sitting P7 and not doing too bad of a job, keeping with Poe. I don't think he's got the pace of the others up front. Obviously, being a wheel user himself, probably struggling with some of these traction zones. But, you know, not doing too bad in P7. Doing alright.
Yeah, doing my inner Ted Kravitz impression. Clouds are coming over. And plus Chip Chap has pit, and he's pit for mediums, which shows the rain might not be that far away.
Yeah, like you say, let's hope Ted's notebook's got some useful information in it next time as we watch on board with Blizzard, as Onyx still tries to find a way past this Renault. He's going to go for the same move. He's pushing him. It's very, very aggressive from Onyx, and they're going to cost him because Blizzard straight up the inside. Alfie's going to have the best traction out of these guys, but Onyx is going to get squeezed now, being his own worst enemy. I think very dirty from Onyx, trying to squeeze him a bit too hard there, and I think he's compromised his own exit as you see a battle for P3 ensue.
Yeah, he's cost himself there. He tried going down the inside of Alfie into turn, I believe that's 4, and had the inside line, so the exit was atrocious. As he almost hits the back of Blizzard, Alfie seems to be struggling on traction, so he's definitely impeding these two behind, and Poe and Lickle are starting to gain on him.
Yeah, he's caught in a bit of a black hole effect at the moment, Alfie. He's just been sucked in, and there's nothing he can really do. He's trying to get the traction, he's trying to find the pace to get out of it, but the front runners are just running away with it. Obviously, Odem's just keeping with Lee Finley at the moment. Made a bit of a mistake going to turn 1, I believe, like you said, Leon, but just keeping him at bay, making sure he doesn't, you know, get away, but not challenging him at the moment.
Here comes Blizzard around the outside, potentially. Alfie breaks a lot later. Denies Blizzard the switchback. Oh, Blizzard gets a bit of a tank slapper going on. I think Alfie's got the position still, coming to the final corner. Alfie a little bit sluggish on the power. Onyx as well. But Blizzard's going to come back at him again. Will Blizzard try what Onyx did around the outside of turn 1 for the switchback kit? No, Alfie defends this one a lot better.
Yeah, ran a bit wide just on the exit of turn 2, going into turn number 3. Alfie really, like you say, struggling for traction in some of these slow speed corners. That Renault really all over the place, but he is doing a very, very good job, not just to keep Blizzard, but Onyx behind him as well. And I think Onyx has hit the back of Blizzard again, so Onyx really struggling on the brakes, and it's bringing Poe and Lickle into the game. And also, look at this man, Ash Best, up into P8, got past Gamer, and he's on the hards.
Yeah, the hard runners are coming through. Gamer's there as well, so the top 2 hard runners are now joining this battle for what is P3. And if this rain isn't going to come for a little while, I think these 2 hard runners are in a good chance of first and second here.
Yeah, just going off the battle just briefly, Killer Zone in P14 challenging Cam for P13, but these guys obviously lingering as Cam actually goes miles off the track and then comes back on. A bit dirty from Cam so far, but we are going to go on board with Ash Best. I think there's some moves about to be happening.
Yeah, Blizzard's not ready to go for it. Onyx again, late on the brakes. Almost hit the back of Blizzard again. But Blizzard is nicely tucked up behind Alfie, but Alfie's doing a stellar job. He's lost the back end on the entrance to the corner. And Blizzard's got a 3-second time penalty, but Blizzard's going to have a better run here. As a no ERS, we'll try it around the outside of turn 1. Alfie defends beautifully and keeps in position. Oh, Blizzard tapping him, pushing him. Now Onyx is going for a push. Everyone keeps pushing each other. He's up in sector 3. I don't know what that could be for.
Yeah, well,
Alfie keeps the position again.
We'll ignore it for so far because this battle is very, very intense. A lot of flexing going on from some of these drivers. Blizzard pushing Alfie around some of these corners. I think Alfie will have to think about the alternate strategy of pitting maybe for a soft compound. So we see yellow flags in sector 1. We will just check to see who that is.
Killer Zone.
Killer Zone was on the hards initially and was behind Cameron Anderson or Cherry 2 Pie and has dropped a significant amount as Paco leaves the session. So I think Paco has been caught up with something a bit dangerous. As we watch, Ash Best is looking mighty. Ash Best is looking the man to take all of these drivers out of the race because he is flying on these hard tyres. We see yellow flags in sector 2.
It's KB again.
Is it?
Yeah, he's going slow. I think he's going to retire. But yeah, Ash Best now at this point, I think the hards are coming into play. I don't think it's on board with. I think Blizzard could be the best one for now. Blizzard's trying it around the outside of Alfie again. Can't get the move done. Ash has got the move done on Lickle, I think. No, he hasn't. He hasn't either. There's battles going on everywhere in this huge train.
Yeah, Alfie. I don't know what he's playing at.
Oh, Power's gone. Oh, he's bit mud.
It's alright, don't worry about it. We're going to see Alfie struggle to defend it this time. He has got the inside line, but the traction has just fallen away from him as he's going to go wide, and oh, the back end's gone, but keeps it miraculously. I don't know how he's kept that. Octopus fingers from this man. I don't know how he's kept that from spinning all the way around, but Alfie only conceding one position and looks to be on the attack again on Blizzard. So Alfie may be showing some hidden pace.
Oh, Blizzard really shoving him off, but Alfie is still there. He's just blocking sector 2. There's a huge train now. Oh, there's contact. Alfie's on the grass. Oh. Alfie's spotting him on the track. Oh, the clear avoided it.
Yeah, not too sure what to say really. I think Blizzard obviously getting a bit frustrated under that helmet, and I think a bit dirty from his perspective. We'll get a stewards as Ash Best lose the back end, and here comes Gamer. He's going to go around the outside, going into the sweeping left-hander onto obviously one of the hardest corners on the track in this long right-hander. It goes on forever. It's like the Great Wall of China. It just never ends as it attaches to this lovely long straight that people can just have a bit of a, you know, bit of a pamper session, relaxation, as we see a Red Bull parked on the side of the road in sector 3.
Yeah, all Blizzard's locked up massively, and Onyx is now down the inside. These two are battling. One thing I would like to point out as well is that the mediums at this point are going to start wearing themselves out, and they are pitching actually.
Interesting that Lickle Blocks has stayed out, currently going to take P3 at the moment, and the leaders have also stayed out on these mediums. But obviously, Alfioli being unfortunate from his perspective, he is going to stay out on the mediums, even though he does seem to be struggling with traction. So is it too early to be pitting for a new set of tyres because of the rain?
Blizzard's gone on a set. Oh, Blizzard's been held. Oh, Blizzard's gone on a set of hards. Meanwhile, Onyx has gone on for a set of mediums.
Very interesting. I think different teams having different pieces of data. As you go back to Ash Best Gamer and Lickle, who are fighting for a P3 currently. Maybe not net P3 when they all start to pit, but obviously these hard runners can run a lot longer, and Lickle Blocks is being the cork in the bottle.
Yeah, he is. He's got these two behind. I don't think he'll have to keep him behind for that long. At this point, the mediums are pretty much on thin ice. You can get a couple more laps out of them, and KB does retire. So, for example, if ASC was to come out, it would aid top point. I don't know what will happen, but yeah, I think Lickle will lose the position.
Yeah, just having a look at obviously the top two as well. Odem's keeping that gap as we watch Gamer go on the inside of Lickle. I don't think he will challenge it. He's going to capture the slipstream though as Ash Best closes and closes. Sniffs the inside but doesn't take the chance. He's going to have to stick behind Lickle for a tiny bit longer, as Lickle I think will pit this lap. No, so Lickle stays out, and is that spots of rain? Yeah, spots of rain on my screen.
So Onyx and Blizzard have made an absolute awful decision, but then the thing is how long will it take for the track to soak in? Because the mediums are going to be on their last life soon, so it could be very interesting. There's Lickle keeping it in there with Gamer, and very nice defending, squeezing him out. Look at Ash Best, he's going to have a look now. Got the hard runners going side by side. Lickle's still involved. Gamer now goes on the inside of Lickle. I think Lickle's going to get him on the exit. Yeah, Lickle keeps the position.
Yeah, fantastic driving from Lickle, obviously knowing how to preserve a set of mediums and doing a fantastic job, not just to hamper these guys' races but keep them behind, because this is for position now. Now the rain is coming down, it's only a matter of time before these guys get past, but if he can minimise the gap, Lickle's going to have a very, very good chance of keeping a P3 as he goes off onto the AstroTurf. Luckily no grass there for Lickle, so got away with it, but clearly, as you can see, Leon struggling.
Yeah, as I've said quite a lot, then mediums are at the end and the track is soaking in, so the grip levels are falling. The mediums will be better in the rain, but yeah, Lickle's tyres are pretty much done, and Gamer's going to get the move done. Ash Best is going to go for it as well around the outside with a bit of tow from Gamer. Oh, Gamer locks up, so it invites Lickle in, but no. Can't get the moves done, and I think Gamer's going to keep the position. Oh, a little bit of parking going on there in the final corner. Lickle is literally tucked up right behind Gamer. Right around the outside of turn one. That's Jay, who's come out of nowhere to get into this battle. Where is Lickle going? I don't know. I think he's got lost slightly. Oh, he's still there. Is he going to try and keep it on the inside? Oh, he does! Oh, a little half spin there. He's struggling on the traction, and I think Gamer's got the move done now, and I think Lickle is running out of tread in the tyres.
Yeah, not too sure as we watch Jay attack Ash. Ash did tap the back of Lickle through the half spin as Jay goes up the inside of Ash Best. A fantastic move from Jay if he can keep it. Ash Best, yeah, he's got no traction. Jay biding his time and picking his moment beautifully from that man there. Jay, oh, Ash has come back up the inside. So Ash sticking his nose in, and it's warranted. Lickle Block's obviously in P4 currently, but he's not giving up the ghost. I think he wanted to stick his nose down the inside for turn number 3, but Gamer wasn't having any of it. A bit of latency as we see Ash Best lose the back end in P5. Everybody's struggling in these mixed conditions. It's going to make for an absolute fantastic brawl when all these guys come in for a pit stop, but Lickle Block's doing a fantastic job, and he looks aggressive. He looks like he's going for the attack.
Yeah, here's all they go. Oh wow, that's a big snap of oversteer there. He's losing traction all over the place. If you look at his tyres, he's on board with him. His front left and front right are absolutely shredded. Got to defend from Ash Best, even though he has DRS. Ash Best was thinking about it, but can't get the move done. But this rain isn't coming down that hard, so the medium runners are in a bit of a bad situation.
Yeah, the rain's obviously very temperamental, especially in F1 games. You just don't know what's going to happen as Blizzard makes up a place on Cherry 2 pie. Ash is going to go up the inside of Lickle. I don't think Lickle should defend this, but he is going to anyway. He's not just going to defend it, he's going to attack again. Look at him, straight down the inside. This man doesn't know when to stop. Lickle Block's doing a fantastic job of maintaining the pace with these hard runners when he's on the medium tyres, remember. These mediums are well past the expiry date. It's like gone off milk. It's disgusting. Chewed up rubber as we see Jake up the inside going into turn number 5, I believe. And gets the job done. And I think Lickle now needs to start preserving these tyres because he's battling for the sake of it at this point of the race.
Yeah, he's just losing grip now all over the place. To be honest, if it carries on for another few laps, I do think that he may lose it. Or he's going to get a puncture.
Yeah, there are a few of these guys still remaining out there on the mediums. Lee Finley has pulled a gap to Odems as we watch Francis and Cherry 2 Pie going side by side.
Gone off.
Oh, Cherry 2 Pie spun it as well. The commentator's curse on Cherry 2 Pies. He's destroyed a polystyrene board, and that I think that's Cam finished. He's all over the shop.
Jay's attacking Ash. Ash seems to be struggling in these mixed conditions. That's about the third or fourth time he's made an error, and Jay's going to get the move done halfway to people.
Yeah, the rain not coming quick enough for some of these drivers. Lickle Block's very struggling.
He's punctured. He punctured in the pit lane.
Okay.
And Lickle's off. Oh no, he's not. Lickle's pitting, but yeah, Odem's got a puncture. So he's got away with that one.
Yeah, I think it's time. These medium runners can't hold it any longer. Lee Finley doing a stellar job at the moment, but these mediums are just not lasting. It's been lap after lap, and these mediums just cannot cope with the pressure. Odem's falling the first victim of a puncture, and at the moment these guys losing bags and bags of time to the hard runners, which is very unfortunate for the race. As you see, Cherry 2 Pie, after making a mistake, he's currently P10 and just come out behind Lickle Blocks.
Yeah, I don't know what tyre is the best, because DRS hasn't been disabled yet as Louis passing spots. I think it's the crossover point, but the rain's not coming down hard enough for the inters to kick in. So I think everyone who's pitted for inters is on a gamble.
Like you say, Leon, I do think you're right when it's the transition period for some of these drivers, but I think they had no other choice. These mediums normally only go about 13 laps, and if you stretch them, some of these guys are taking them to lap 15, 16, and they're just not handling it as Louis locks up going into the sharp left-hander, but he's all over Ash Best. Ash Best definitely one of the men to watch in the dry conditions, but in these mixed conditions he is struggling. As you see the back end just give away as Louis is going to run on that deadly curb. You don't want to be out there, especially when it's wet, but Louis bringing it back, isn't he? He's clawing the lead back. He wants more. He's hungry.
Lee Finley pits. I think everyone's going to pay this point, but yeah, Louis not that far away, and DRS has been disabled, so everyone's going to pit, and Ash Best, he's off again. He's going to lose 2 positions this time. Alright, so he's side by side with Sparks, so I wonder what's going to happen here.
Well, if they both come in the pit lane, it's going to be a scrap for the pit lane. They are going to come in the pit lane. Here we go. They've changed it, so there's tarmac on the outside, and I think Spark might have it, but he's going to have to concede. No, he's not.
Oh, Ash sped. Wow, I thought it was the opposite way around.
Ash Best speeding in the pit lane. We want to see where Odems comes out compared to Lee Finley. Lee Finley miles ahead. So Lee Finley has it all to play for now in the pit lane. As Gamer's been jumped, Gamer's been held, and Gamer has been jumped by Louis.
Wow, well, Lickle's come out third by quite a distance. It's not quite a distance, but he's come out in third. Gamer's been jumped by Louis. Louis's got a good chance of at least third. I don't think he can get anything better than that.
Yeah, just looking further down as well. Obviously, some of these guys having to pick. Cameron Anderson just come into the pit lane now. Blizzard lingering down there with Chiff Chaff, and Onyx just in no man's land. They've completely messed up the strategy, which is very unfortunate because they offered some brilliant racing at the start of this race, but everybody's coming back together, aren't they? Even Alfie, who had a spin, was in net P3, has kept it, and he's in the points. So Alfie, a stellar recover drive.
Let's just say Cherry's on the wets.
Cherry 2 Pie, that man had an awful time at Australia and repeating the absolute shit show of his campaign so far, but we'll move on anyway. I don't think we want to watch a horse when it's already dead. As we watch LRT ILRT Lickle and ILRT Louis all over the place. Lickle struggling immensely. Is it going to be heavy rain though? Because the rain is coming down. An absolute treat. Jacotex has just got past Lickle blocks on the straight, and Louis, I think, not having to defend, going on the aggressive. Will he pass Lickle?
Don't know, he might be able to. Louis that broke himself massively. No, he hasn't. Wow, he's going to get that car slowed down. He broke a lot later than I thought he would. Jay's got no traction out the corner. Lordy-MK stuck, and I think Louis knows he's on the AstroTurf, so he's going to have no grip there, and Jay keeps him the distance.
Just judging on strategy from some of these drivers, as we watch Onyx and Cherry 2 Pie fight for position, but we're not too bothered about that at the moment. Louis keeps the revs to 13,000 in that hairpin as he goes up the inside of Jay. So Louis clearly has a tactic in mind to keep the revs high, to optimise the wheel spin, to get the traction, because there's a lot of standing water. So Louis, as you can see, his revs are very high, especially when he's trying to get the traction out of some of these corners, and it's working a treat for him. Very late on the brakes, he's on the grass as we watch both front tyres lock going into turn number turn number 6 I should say. But Louis definitely looking the quickest.
People in this stream are asking for you to show the tyres.
Instead of the position change, yes, of course. Sorry, I think everybody is on inters, so not too much really to see. Well, yeah, apart from Cherry, but when you're lingering in P15 and your closest rival is Big C, who spawn at lap 1, I think there's issues. Yeah, let's just ignore that. I think that's just for another day. I'm going to stay on board with Gamer because he's got the best view of this battle as he lights the rear tyres up through this long sweeping right-hander, as I've said millions of times before. Blizzard has got past Chiff Chaff battling for P12 and 13, but I'm going to stay on board with this because I think Lickle is under pressure from Jay. Jay's switching left, right and centre. He's going to go up the inside. He's going to force Lickle out wide, but who's going to get the traction? Here we go. Going into the final corner. You want to beat the car ahead because you're not going to have very good traction coming out this corner. Lickle fights it. Did have the racing line. Fair play, but Jay's found extra grip on the AstroTurf.
Louis there, Louis backs out there.
Yeah, Louis being smart in these conditions. Obviously 3 wide doesn't really go into turn 1, but especially not in the wet. But Lickle blocks, doing a tremendous job. He finds traction when no other person can. He's going to put, yeah, give him some. Go on, give him some. As he loses the rear end, and Louis is going to have a challenge now. Jacotex getting bullied out of P3, and Louis is going to go around the outside of everybody. Is Jay going to go down the inside? I think he is. Yeah, he's pushed that Ferrari all the way around. Lickle will not be happy with that, and Gamer's nearly lost it in P6.
Sparks with Ash Bester going at it as well. They're going to go side by side into the fast left right. No, Sparks gets the move done, but yeah, the battle between Louis, Jay and Lickle there was brilliant. Yeah,
fantastic racing from them. Very, very aggressive. I don't know if words will be exchanged after the race of that argy-bargy racing. But, oh, Gamer's nearly lost it in Cherry 2's out. What a disappointing end to a disappointing season for Cherry 2 Pie. All the way down in 16th place. And that's game over.
I could have only made a full wet.
It could be the call. Just look at the lead Louis pulled though.
Pardon? I can never clear what you said.
Sorry, I was just saying, just look at the lead Louis pulled. 1.1 seconds already on Jay. Obviously DRS is disabled due to these conditions, but Jacotex having the pace over the likes of Lickle I think at the moment, and Gamer, but Louis on top at the moment in these conditions. Feels at one with that Renault.
Yeah, there's a lot of standing water appearing on the track, so the rest are going to be on the way. Louis, I think, pretty much confirmed himself P3 unless something dramatic does happen. I think now it's just a battle for P4.
Yeah, not just that as well. Alfioli, we have been mentioning him quite a few times. Unfortunately, had a spin with blizzards, which I think will be taken to the stewards because it was very dodgy from a lot of parties in that manoeuvre. But look at how quick he is in these conditions. Alfioli definitely having the pace at the moment, currently sitting in P9, but Ash Best, probably one of the the drivers on the hard tyres who optimise the hards to the max that they could be pushed is really struggling in these conditions. Alfie doing a fantastic job and is looking to... Oh, as I've been interrupted because that's a Mercedes. Big C.
Out.
Yellow flags in sector 3. We won't go on board because we don't want to see the damage, but at the moment I think Lickle is looking the most under pressure, and also Ash Best I think is looking the most under pressure from Alfie.
Yeah, I think I don't know what's going to happen next. I think we'll go on board with Alfie. I think Alfie's closer.
Yeah, I think Alfie is definitely wringing the maximum out of this Renault. Very wobbly under braking as he tries to slice the corner, maybe to maximise the exit, but Ash Best keeping the car planted. He's not making any silly mistakes, and that is what's going to cost you around here. Very tidy through the last corner. I actually think he deserves to take it a bit wider, maybe use some of that AstroTurf, because as we saw with Jay, he actually gained a position by going off the track. So whether the stewards will have a look at that and maybe penalise him, we're not too sure, but it's been brilliant racing so far, even in these conditions. As we see yellow flags in sector 3.
Oh, Onyx, championship leader off at the bell end corner.
The notorious curvy bell end corner, and Onyx has had an absolute miserable afternoon. The weather not helping, and I think that's game over for points this evening for him.
Yeah, it's a shame after winning his debut last week, and he's now not going to get a point as well.
I think this stage of the race, people just finding their feet in these conditions, probably not as much practice as people would have liked in these sorts of conditions. As we see a yellow flag in sector 3 again.
Oh,
so
Onyx again. Start finish straight.
So Onyx, I think it's time to give up as we see. Oh, Alfie's pushed Ash Best.
Oh,
he's gonna give it back, I think, but there's no traction from any of the drivers. They're both just losing time at this rate. Alfie feeling like he's outbraked himself and pushed Ash Best and tried to give the position back and actually compromising both of them, and they're just falling further and further behind from Sparks in P7. So a bit clumsy there from Alfie, but does give the position back, very courteous.
yeah. Ash Best has been struggling all race, so I thought for a second it would be Ash Best, and Ash Best has gone deep again. I think Alfie's just going to scoop that position. No, Ash keeps it in there. Oh! Oh, and Alfie's off into the wall. I don't know if he got wing damage there. I do not know what happened either.
Yeah, I caught it brilliantly from my camera angle. Alfie just, I think Lickle tried to tighten up the corner for himself just to make himself a bit of extra room, and just didn't optimise or realise that Alfie was side by side with him, and I think Alfie's done tremendously well to keep that, one, from not getting any damage, and two, from not being the end of his race, because he is in a solid P9 at the moment, and a handful of points on his debut will be an achievement.
Yeah, I'm surprised he's actually able to keep up with Ash Best. I think it shows how far Ash Best is doing, and that's the first wet gamble. Chiff Chaff is on some wets.
Interesting call. There's a couple of laps left of this race, well, a handful of laps I should say left of this race, but I just don't think he's going to get the optimal traction or optimal grip out of them wets. It is obviously heavy rain, but these Inters are, you know, international continental tyres, as I like to call them. They work in any condition, even in the dries. They just overheat, but they've still got pretty decent grip. But the intermediates, I think, for a lot of drivers is the optimal tyre.
Yeah, I'll keep the gap between Chiff Chaff and Blizzard and see what does happen.
Yeah, just going to check.
Chiff Chaff is actually gaining on Blizzard, sorry about that. He's gained half a second in the first sector on Blizzard.
Chiff Chaff may have pulled a master stroke, but he's got a long way to go if he wants to make it work. As we watch Gamer go down the inside, there's yellow flags as Onyx retires. Gamer locks up the front right, and he's nearly come to a complete stop to get past Lickle. So, you know, Gamer getting the job done, maybe not the cleanest he would have liked. He's going to be vulnerable down this straight as well, because Lickle looks very, very aggressive. These two looking to get a handful of points, because obviously the championship leader did bin it, and these two are next in line to take the crown for championship leader currently, and they are fighting tooth and nail. Lickle tried to squeeze it down the inside, but Gamer very alert to the situation, and Lickle doing a tremendous job just to keep with him and to keep the fight to game out.
Indeed, meanwhile, Alfie got past Ash Best eventually. Ash is struggling. I thought he would do quite well this race, but obviously I overestimated him.
Yeah, he's not doing too bad. Alfioli did have the pace. Like I said, unfortunate with the spin as Gamer just goes wide with this fast left-hander. Don't know if that's tactical just to get a bit more cool water on some of these tyres just to make sure they don't overheat. But obviously people struggling now. The rain is torrential. It is, you know, flooding season in China. And people, get your buckets out. If you want a bucket of water, then there you go, mate, because look at the rain. It's absolutely horrific. And Sparks is all over the back of Lickle now as he makes a slight mistake coming out of the second sector.
Yeah, I wasn't about Chiff Chaff doing quite well, but Chiff Chaff is losing it as well, so he's not exactly a good guinea pig, I'll say.
Yeah, Chiff Chaff, P4 I believe he started, but he has definitely been the guinea pig for his teammate this entire race. And been a guinea pig for himself, I think, this entire race. I don't think his teammate actually attended, so I don't know what I'm chatting. But anyway, regardless of Chiff Chaff, he's down in P13 and he's had a miserable afternoon. The last of the runners, because obviously Paco retired as well. I'm not too sure why his car is still showing or highlighted on the track, because he has retired, but it's just been not the best for Chiff Chaff.
Rain is still coming down. I think, yeah, as you said about the inters, they can last in any condition, but people are starting to struggle with the back end. The inters are starting to get worn as well, plus with a 3-second time penalty. But I think the people who have been on the oldest, so for example Lickle, Odems, Alfie, will all have lesser grip now, I would say.
Yeah, just taking a few minutes just to appreciate how cool, calm and collected this man Lee Finley has been. He's got a 7-second gap to Odems. Odems also having a fantastic race himself, proving a lot of people wrong here at China. But Lee Finley has been untouchable from lap 1. He didn't take pole, he took second position and had a lot to do to get past Odems, but Odems made a mistake going into turn 1 and it has just lifted the floodgates for Lee Finley to come through and to just prove his worth. And here he is in the Toro Rosso currently. I'm just having a bit of an appreciation lap for him. We'll get back to some of the battles in a minute. There's not too much happening. I'm just checking the sector times for some people, see if anyone gets any closer. But Lee Finley, unstoppable. Leon.
Yeah, he's doing quite well in the wet and the dry. He's been caught slightly by Odenis, but I don't think that matters with 4 laps to go. But yeah, he's been untouchable in pretty much all conditions. The dry, the mixed, now the intermediates, which is basically now should be full wets, I would say. Yeah, been untouchable. And quite a bad voice break there.
Yeah, he's that good that our voices cannot even take it. Lee Finley, blinding performance. But we're going to continue on, because the race isn't over yet and there's a handful of points definitely at people's disposal to gain and to lose at this stage, and the battle for P5 is heating up as Gamer, Lickle and Sparks fight for what's considerably a good result for all of them. I don't believe any of them started higher than P5. I think Sparks and Lickle were mid-pack about, and I think Lickle started 7th and Sparks started, we'll just check the positions actually just to see.
Gamer started 13th, Lickle 6th, Sparks 11th.
Yeah, so a lot of them starting outside the top 10 apart from Lickle, even though Lickle at worst is going to get P7 if he doesn't make a mistake. So it's been a very solid afternoon from some of these drivers, capitalising on mistakes made by, you know, Alfioli and Blizzard, who pitted early with Onyx and kind of ruined their race there. Not too sure why those guys pitted. But yeah, there's the yellow flags in sector 3 as I'm just on board with Sparks at the moment. Not too sure if that's just someone getting out of the way.
Oh, it's Chiff Chaff.
That man Chiff Chaff, fed to the lions.
Lee Finley in the background, he's going to get whacked. Chiff Chaff.
Poor old Chiff Chaff, watching Spark and Lickle at the moment. Spark, obviously, he's got to time his braking right. If he's going to get past Lickle, he's sniffing. He is sniffing it. Lickle, ooh, not taking the apex optimally there. He's going to get a miles better exit than Sparks, because Sparks just lights up the rear tyre. Too much revs on the exit. I think Lickle's actually gained in the last sector on Gamer as well, so Gamer's still under threat as we enter lap 26. So this battle's still not over, as I said before, but just petered out compared to the start of the race earlier, because it was very hectic.
Yeah, the race has died down since getting into the wet period, but I think that's just people trying to keep it calm. You know, it's quite easy to lose to the back end or bin it in the wet, so I think they're just being a bit more calm.
Yeah, people just trying their best to keep it out of the wall, especially in these tricky conditions. All assists are off, bar racing line. In this league, I think racing line will be turned off when people start getting used to the game, and people will be asked to transition to no racing line. But at the moment it is on, but a lot of these drivers anyway have everything against them in terms of assists, and a lot of them just doing a stellar job. The field obviously spread out throughout the ranks, but it's been very, very impressive from a lot of these drivers. A lot better than last week, I should say.
Yeah, last week was I don't even know what to say.
Iffy.
A test race? I don't know. Kind of, we were getting used to each other.
Yeah, I'd say iffy. They had some thrilling battles and thrilling strategic calls. Lickle and Gamer being at the forefront again of some of these battles, just like they have been today. But there's obviously been some thrills and spills, like Blizzard getting too many penalties to count at this rate in this race. But in Australia, obviously Sparks crashing out, I believe, on lap 2, I think it was. He had a bit of a spin and contact and went into the wall and retired, doing a lot better this race.
Chip Chap has been erratic on the straight there, and he's got Jay in front of him. I don't know if that's an AI car or something, but that feels erratic.
Maybe. Chief Chaff just on board with him now. Yeah, I think it is an AI card. I'm not sure if he left earlier or if he's driving like that. He's driving like a monk, but I do think it is an AI car. So we will move on. As he moves out the way for Gamer and Lickle. As we see yellow flags in sector 2. So who's binned it in sector 2?
It's Chip Chap.
Oh, is it just Chief Chaff moving out the way?
Yeah.
Oh,
It is him. He's getting out of the way.
Oh, okay. Very interesting from Chip Chap. I think obviously we do like drivers to continue to the end, however, you know, much they have had a bad race, but I think sometimes you just need to stop. When the fun stops, stop. I think, yeah, well, a lot of people have mentioned to me. But the fun definitely hasn't stopped for some of these drivers, because Sparks is really lingering now as Chiff Chaff moves out the way again. For more people.
I want to quickly check penalties just in case something's happened. But
yeah, don't tell the viewers like last time.
I didn't say anything last time.
No, I'm just saying, like, you know, a lot of the viewers have been asked to, they've been saying, oh, what's the penalty situation, all this. No, I think it's better if we leave it, just to leave it a bit by chance to see where people will finish as we watch Sparks absolutely, if he pulls this off, he's mugged Lickle off. Tries to go around the outside at the hairpin on the cutback, tried to get the traction, but no, Lickle's smarter than that. This guy's a podium winner. A podium wasn't a podium contender today, but definitely was on the podium at Australia. Oh, Sparks is at the wall!
What has he done there? Oh, what?
Lag or not, Alfioli's hit the back of him as well and got wing damage. Sparks all over the place. I'm not too sure if he's hit the pit wall on his own or if Lickle pushed him, but I'm not too sure if you saw that as well. But Sparks all over the place.
I think he's in Malaysia or something, I don't know.
So Sparks having a few internet issues. I don't know if he's just disconnected for a brief moment, but Alfioli catching this group of cars. I just saw him hit the back and chip his wing. He is currently in P8 and was catching this battle. Lickle didn't shove him into the pit wall or anything like that on my screen, so I don't think it was Lickle's fault. I just think it was maybe connection. And poor old Alfie has had another incident where it's probably not been his fault and he's been caught up in it, but a solid P8, but very, very unfortunate for the Renault driver.
Yeah, meanwhile, Lee Finley got to come around the final corner to, I'd say, ace this Grand Prix. He's practically led every single lap, and he comes across the line to win the Chinese Grand Prix by quite a huge distance.
Yeah.
And now we wait for Odems to keep second.
Yeah, like you say, Lee Finley, dominant performance as we see Odems take a fantastic P2, and Louis from nowhere has taken P3. So if you want to invite them to the party when the race is done, just to see, get them in for the interviews, it's going to be very interesting as we see Gamer hold off the likes of Lickle and Sparks for P5. Lickle will maintain P6, Sparks P7, Alfie ole as Wommer says, crosses the line and takes P number 8. Ashbest P9 currently, and will keep it. Francis didn't catch him due to his penalty, so Ashbest maintains a P9. Poe will finish in P11, Francis P10, and Blizzard just summing up his afternoon, really trying to hit into the wall in P13. Horrible afternoon for him. And Chiff Chaff, the only man to pit more times than he's done laps. He's been on the wets, he started P4, and he's put it in the wall, not for the first time, and will come across the line in the solo Haas and take a fantastic, fabulous, emphatic P13, with everybody else unfortunately DNFing from the Chinese Grand Prix.
Yeah, I could have spelled it, but the top 8 didn't have any penalties whatsoever.
Yeah, a good test for these drivers as we watch Lee Finley. Look at that, Scottish, Irish and British all on the podium. If we got a Welchman in P4, I think that would have been the best. But well, Ireland's not technically classed in the UK, it's Northern Ireland, but you know, all the close countries being involved, and it's just nice to see. Well done to Lee Finley.
I'm just inviting them now.
See what people will say. Thank you to all the viewers watching. I think we do have 46 viewers at the moment. So thank you everybody for tuning in. It's 38 now, it was 46 a couple of seconds ago. The race is done now, so I don't understand if people have left. But I think it was at max, I think it was 49 it reached max, I'm not too sure, I'll have to check the stream back. But thank you everybody for watching, and that's your top 10 as I ran through earlier. And interesting afternoon, Leon. Not what we expected.
No, I don't think we expected rain to begin with. Qualifying was the epitome of awful. But the race was fairly interesting. A few people struggling on the dries, a few people struggling in the wets. But yeah, probably one of the most fascinating Grand.
Alright, yeah, I'll get them in now. See, Lee Finley is what we want to be starting with as the number 1 driver. We'll see what order these guys do come in to the lobby. But just going back to our predictions, obviously Alfioli I think would have been up there for me, but obviously had a few incidents, very unlucky, especially in the last couple of laps, getting caught up with that Sparks incident. And you said Louis for a podium, didn't you? So Louis pulling out the bag for you, as we see this man Lee Finley join the party. Just before we get to the questions, just want to take a bit of appreciation for you, Lee Finley. You were immense out there today, and congratulations on P1. How are you feeling?
Oh yes. You know, this is something that I never thought would happen. If I'm being totally honest, it feels amazing after last season's struggles, even getting kicked. Come back this season won the race. I don't know if I'm leading the championship now as well. Yeah, I feel really happy with that.
Yeah, like you say, euphoria, I think is the best word to describe it. You were pretty immense out there. First question from myself. Odems did put up a fight at the start. He did take P1. So what was the mindset from the lights out? Was it stick behind Odems, see what the pace comparison was, or was it, balls deep, get past him, get rid of him?
Well, I was just wanting to try and stick with him at least, because our pace was very similar, but he made a mistake at the final corner, which allowed me to pass him, and then I couldn't pull away from him, but our pace was exactly the same. So yeah, it was only. I just don't want to be silly. Don't try any stupid things, because I knew that I am quite fast in the way anyway, so that was just the plan, just to keep my nose clean, and got past someone through a stick of his, and that was it.
Yeah, we'll come back to you in the end, Lee Finley. As you say, Odems did do a fantastic performance. I don't think he has joined yet. He may join later, I'm not too sure. We will come back to you. Any questions from you, Leon, before we continue?
Since we didn't actually have much of you stream time, because you were just leading 24/7, congrats anyway in 1 second.
Oh, congrats on 1 second. That's a great question from Leon right there. We will come back to you in a sec, Lee Finley. I just want to talk to this man in P3. Squelchy Welchy, as I call him. I knew you'd get on here at some point, Louis. You had the pace, but wow. From, what was it, P16 on the grid? To P3.
The wrong person.
Oh, did I? Oh, it's Lickle. Why are you here? Get out. No, I'm joking. Leon suggested the wrong person.
I had no contacts with Spark on my screen, so I don't know what happened there.
Yeah, it was a very weird incident. Spark actually hit Alfie 2 seconds back. Sorry about inviting the wrong person. Leon suggested the wrong person to me, unfortunately. I will get Louis in a second. Just take us through that incident, Lickle, actually, just while we've got you here. What happened?
Well, I defended the Really, I don't know what happened.
Yeah, but a bit of a strange incident. Leon, you invited the wrong account. You invited Lickle instead of Louis. So we've got Lickle here at the moment. Yeah, don't worry about it. I've invited him now, so we'll join in a second. Just getting Lickle's opinions on obviously the crash that happened with Spark. Just obviously, I've got you as well, Lickle. Gamer seems to be a recurring theme. You two in these races. Got one over you at Australia. Got one over you at China. Is Spain going to be any different?
I haven't driven Spain this game yet, so really I can't say. I have to practice during the week. Yeah, it seems like quite close between me and Gamer. Well, yeah, it's quite nice to be up there with one of the most experienced and most established in PSGL. So definitely aim to get back and get one back on him. Seems like quite a close rivalry for this season.
Yeah, I should say, Gamer, one of the most prestigious drivers in F1 history, and you're battling with the likes of him every race, and it's not very dominant from him. It's very even between the two of you, and we look forward to seeing another battle between yourselves, hopefully in Spain. But thank you for your contribution. But we will try and get the other podium interviewers in, because obviously Leon doesn't know how to read people's names. But
thanks for having me. Goodbye.
It's alright, take care. Just going back to you, Lee, while we wait for Louis, if you want to I'll try and invite him in a second as well again. He does get a bit nervous, I think Louis does. But just going back to you, Lee, like Leon said earlier, you dominated the race from start to finish. you know, your wet weather pace was some of the best we've seen out there. Obviously, what was the mindset in qualifying? I want to go back to, because we were unsure of the weather conditions. Everybody was out on medium tyres and hard tyres. People didn't know what to do, and you suddenly pull out a P2 lap. So, what was was there panic stations in the Toro Rosso garage, or was it very calm, cool, collected? You just got it sorted and got on with it?
Yeah, well, I saw the weather. And I thought, there is rain coming, because I always check the weather like I do in real life. I am a bit of a weather nerd. but yeah, I thought I should probably just go out straight away on the mediums. No bank or anything, just in case the rain comes in early, which it did, and a lot of people got caught out, and I pulled out a decent lap and got into P2, so
Lee, who the fuck do you think you are?
Odem's making an entrance.
Me, comprehensively outclassing me.
Yeah, has to be said. You two were the pick of the bunch the entire weekend, and obviously, you know, Lee just had that edge. I think in the wet weather, Odems, I don't know if you'd agree with me, that's where he outshined you, Lee, in the wet weather. Sure. He just seemed to just step it up to 9th gear and just absolutely blitz everybody. But to come back after, you know, the incident in pre-season between me, you and Leon, and, you know, missing Australia, you've made a statement, haven't you? That was a great race from yourself.
Yeah, it was a good one. Definitely had a fire on my belly for this race. Fortunately, Lee Finley also had a fire in his belly, but I'll take it.
Yeah, it was unfortunate you guys didn't battle throughout the entire race, because it was a spectacle to watch just how closely paced you were, especially in the drive. But what was the mindset? I've asked this to Lee as well. What was the mindset in qualifying? Because obviously we didn't know the weather conditions, what was going to happen. Leon was telling me that it was going to be a wet at the start of the race and it ended up being wet at the end of the race. So what was the strategy for qualifying?
Well, basically, we all loaded into the session, and then it just said rain in 10 minutes. So we all just started freaking out, thinking, can we get a hard lap in, or do we just go straight to the mediums? So everyone just went straight onto the mediums. I timed mine pretty perfectly. Got pole just ahead of Lee Finley. So yeah, it was a huge scramble. No one knew what exact tire to go onto, but I think I just about got the correct decision. I'm not sure if you noticed, but I got a puncture as I pit. That's actually why I pit.
Yeah, I know so.
Yeah, it was very odd. Leon was the one to catch it. I just saw you going coasting in the pit lane, so I don't know if that cost you any time, whether it was at the start of the pit lane or it was just as you went in. But
yeah, before I went in, yeah.
It was just before. But no, you two were the pick of the bunch, and congratulations on a 1-2 finish. I hope to see you two maybe back for next week. But yeah, congratulations. Anything from you, Leon?
Well, I won't be.
What was that, Lee?
I won't be here next week because I'm actually going away on a holiday. So this I'll get someone else to give a chance to win the race and lead the championship.
Well, I would say give me your account and our race, but I'm F4, so I don't think I'd do you justice, mate. Especially out there in Spain, one of my worst tracks. So let's not anyway. But we will try and get Louis in. We're just gonna keep the stream going for a couple more minutes. I did invite him just to see.
He's not joining. He's not joining.
Is he not joining?
No.
Well, congratulations to Louis anyway. I know he's not here. It's good old Squelchy Welchy doing a fantastic job. I think it was from P16 on the grid to take a lovely P3. And obviously thank you from me and Leon for commentating as usual, and we'll see you next week at 8 PM on Sunday for Spain, round 3. So yeah, thank you very much, guys.
Adios.